you can see
It's
two
okay.
of the 4 different species of dinosaur tracks that we have here.
Okay.
We're going to focus on this one first. So every single one of these tracks with 3 giant claws facing forward belongs to the same type of dinosaur. You guys all make those out? Got quite a few different tracks in here. But every single one of the 3 toe tracks made by the same type of dinosaur. Maybe not the same individual, but the same type. That species is called Acrocanthosaurus. You want to say that with me?
Acrocanthosaurus.
It's kind of a mouthful, right? The Acrocanthosaurus is a theropod, very much like a famous dinosaur that we're all pretty familiar with. What's another really famous theropod? Maybe he's got footprints that look kind of like this.
T-Rex?
T-Rex, yeah. T-Rex is a theropod. So is Acrocanthosaurus, the dinosaur that made our tracks. But T-Rex and Acrocanthosaurus came at 2 very different points in history. T-Rex died out 65 million years ago when the meteorite hit what's now the Yucatan Peninsula down in Mexico, wiping out all the dinosaurs as we know it. Well, these tracks in here were made about 50 million years before that. 113 million years ago is when we date these rocks. These are early Cretaceous. The meteorite impact ended the Cretaceous, so it came at the very end, and that's where you find T-Rex. So even though T-Rex and Acrocanthosaurus are very similar, stand on 2 legs, carnivorous dinosaurs, same general body shape, they're very, very different. They live vast differences in time right there. But if we look at these, we can draw a lot of similarities based off our knowledge of T-Rex in looking at the Acrocanthosaurus tracks. Here, you can make out a left foot, a right foot, another left foot here, and then right up in here would be where that next right foot is. But you can only make out that outermost digit right here. Now I point that out to show you that not every single step is going to make a footprint, right? You've got a lot of different factors in here that are going to either give you a track or keep you from making a track. The consistency of the mud, back when this was still mud 113 million years ago, wasn't the exact same all the way through. It was different. If we look at the track right in here, can y'all see where that laser pointer is pointing? Right in the middle. This is a really good track because it shows not just 1, 2, 3 claws of Acrocanthosaurus, but all 5 of his claws. So we look at this guy and say 1, 2, 3. Move right back here. That's what we call his metatarsal. That's the 4th digit. So if you think about a chicken, that claw that points backwards on a chicken, that's the metatarsal. Same thing that you're seeing right here. So that's the 4th digit. Now we're looking for the 5th. Move right in here, and that's Acrocanthosaurus' 5th digit. So it's on the inside and raised up a little bit. So think about your dog's dew claw. Same general idea right there. You can see all 5 of his claws in this track. But you don't see all 5 of his claws in every track, right? Most of the time you just see the 3. That's because the consistency of the mud varies. Back when this was mud, the mud right here was nice and firm and held the shape of the animal's footprint. But if we move just a few feet over here, the mud at this point was a lot soupier. How many of you guys have ever stepped in mud and had your shoe sucked off as you tried to draw your foot out? Right? I imagine that's probably what it would have felt like stepping right here. You can see right in here, that little crack, that's where his toe goes up under the water right there. So when this animal stepped in then mud, it squished up over his toes and he drew his foot out. If you compare the size of this track to this one, which one looks bigger? right? That farther one, right? Well, these guys are about the exact same size. I can measure from here, or when I get in there in the summer, I measured this. I can take my hand and stick it up in that crack in the rock all the way past my watch band right there. That's how far back his toe goes into the rock. So that mud came, squished up over, he drew his foot out, and he left that hole in there. Well, you have events like offshore storms that churn up the ocean, and when they came into this area, it settled out and filled in these dinosaur tracks. You've got all this stuff. This is that offshore storm sediment that came and filled these guys in, that capped the tracks off for, creating that barrier that's so crucial for fossilization. You need rapid burial in order to become fossil. That was that rapid burial action that capped them off and protected them for the next 113 million years, or until we would see these tracks. It's sticky mud too. So we'll go back to these guys. Talk about Acrocanthosaurus a little more. This guy was big. He wasn't quite as big as T-Rex, but he was still big. Anybody know what regulation goal height is for basketball? 10 foot. Think of your basketball goal at home or school or park. 10 foot tall. Take that and double it. What do you get? 10 foot, double it.
20.
20 foot. 20 foot tall. That's how tall Acrocanthosaurus was.
Wow.
20 foot tall carnivorous dinosaur right there. He weighed as much as a full grown African elephant. So that's up to 7 tons right there. Just an absolute massive, massive dinosaur. You can just imagine this guy walking through the landscape, creating his tracks, hunting, stalking his prey, right? So that's one of the species that we have in here. How many did I say we have in here? 2. The next species that I want to highlight is, we'll start at my feet. Come all the way over here. Boom, right here. This right here is Sauroposeidon's back foot, specifically his back right foot. And this right here is his front foot, his front right foot. Very different, right? Now, Sauroposeidon was a big dinosaur. He was actually one of, if not the tallest sauropods ever found. The sauropods include dinosaurs like Brontosaurus and Brachiosaurus, 4 legs, long neck, long tail, herbivorous dinosaurs. Ducky, if anyone ever, no one's Land Before Time? Oh, okay. It's a good movie still. You have to watch that one. But Sauroposeidon right here was huge. This guy maxed out at 44 tons. So not 1 elephant, but 6.5 elephants. 44 tons and 6 stories tall.
Wow.
How many of us have ever been on the 6th floor of a building? You would have been eye level with Sauroposeidon at
Wow.
6 stories. Just absolute massive, massive animal. And he was actually lean for a sauropod, if you can imagine 44 tons being lean. But I liken him a lot to modern day giraffes. Compared to us, these animals are huge, right? Very tall, specialized body, also a very lean body for that skeletal structure. But I liken Sauroposeidon, much to modern day giraffes in that specialized body style. Now, in the early Cretaceous, most other sauropods were getting smaller and smaller and smaller, but Sauroposeidon, for some reason or another, was getting bigger and bigger. We're not sure why, but the fossil record just shows that he's getting bigger and bigger at that point. But Sauroposeidon right here, you can see even the direction in which he's traveling. Anybody got a clue? These are his claws right here. This is his back foot. His front foot's over here. Which direction is he going? Yeah, going that way, right? He came from that side of the pool and took a right turn and would have run right over you if you were standing here. You'd have been squished. So that's Saur Poseidon. The other two species that we have here in the park that you'll find down at the Dinio track site or up at the Taylor track site or even some of the ballroom track site, you'll find Ornithomimid, which is an ostrich-like dinosaur. So if you think back to the very first Jurassic Park that I know everyone has memorized, just like me, the scene where Dr. Grant and the two kids are being chased by the flocking dinosaur, the Gallimimus, Ornithomimid is similar in body shape to or Gallimimus, excuse me. And you'll find those here in the park, but down ballroom and at Dinio track site down river. You're also going to find the fourth species is Iguanodon, which is one of the very first dinosaurs ever officially discovered and written about. You'll find those here as well. Now, those two species that I just mentioned are not anywhere near the abundance that Acrocanthosaurus and Saur Poseidon are here in the park, though. Anybody have any questions so far about the dinosaurs or the park or how a fossil becomes a fossil? Or
So this is actually hard rock.
yes, ma'am. This is hard limestone right here, specifically dolomitic limestone. If we have any geologists, the only difference between dolomitic limestone and limestone is the presence of magnesium. It makes it more resistant to weathering. This is now hard, solid rock. Back when these footprints were being made, back when this was still mud, this landscape was very, very different. That hill didn't exist. This river didn't exist. We wouldn't come around for another 113 million years. Very, very different. We would have been on the edge of a beach. But it's not the same kind of beach that we go vacation at with waves coming and crashing on the shore. This is a nice, calm lagoon right here. Now, it was an ancient coastline that ran through what's now Texas. But behind you guys would have been a shallow inland sea that ran from the Gulf of Mexico all the way up to the the Arctic Ocean. Behind me was a very dense forest. We're talking Amazon rainforest density. And right in here was that beachy zone. But specifically in this area was a nice, calm lagoon. So if we think about, walking along the beach, making footprints in there, what happens to your footprint as soon as that wave comes?
You're gone.
It destroys it, right?
Right.
They disappear. So we know that this environment didn't have those waves. Otherwise, these tracks would not be here. They've been washed away. So you had a nice, calm lagoon in this area. So when these animals are in here, stepping in here, making their footprints, they're in about a meter or two of water. So 4 to 7 foot of water. Now, if you're 20-foot tall Acrocanthosaurus and you're in 7 foot of water, maybe that's at your knee. 60-foot tall Saur Poseidon, that's like your ankle. It's nothing to these guys. But if you're 6 foot tall